NIL, 3 letters, but ultimately the path that has transformed college athletics into something that has never been seen before. Standing for name, image, and likeness, NIL refers to the way in which student athletes are now allowed to receive monetary compensation for their athletic achievements. Although only 3 years into the legalization of NIL, there have been many examples and stories of how NIL has changed the world of college sports. Today, I will take us through the background of NIL, the opportunities already granted to student athletes, and the problems that have arisen because of it. So what is NIL and how did it come to be? So before NIL was a thing, Donald De La Haye was a UCF kicker who had a YouTube channel that was earning significant profit while he was in college. In Stevenson's academic journal, highlighting the ramifications of NIL, he explains that the NCAA demanded that Donald either delete his YouTube channel or return all the money he had made. So ultimately, Donald had to choose between his full scholarship and his football career, or continuing to earn money through his YouTube channel. This is only one problem that was seen before NIL, but in July of 2021, in the Supreme Court case of NCAA versus Alston, Sean Alston, a former West Virginia running back, was the lead plaintiff in arguing that the NCAA was violating the Sherman Act by restricting the monetary gains of student athletes. In the Supreme Court ruling, it states that the NCAA should allow a measure of compensation consistent with the value that student athletes bring to their school. So what does this mean? Lee Murphy explains that someone who produces college team jersey, video game, trading card, etc., for the purpose of making a profit now has to pay the student athlete whose name, image, and likeness is being used. So now student athletes can capitalize and earn money for their athletic accomplishments through brand deals and sponsorships. So next, in what way do student athletes benefit from NIL? Before NIL, the NCAA and individuals within the organization received all the revenue, while student athletes received nothing, even though they were the ones leading to billions of dollars in income. According to Samaya's academic journal, the March Madness contract is worth $1.1 billion annually, and the TV deal for the college football playoffs is worth $470 million annually. Before NIL, student athletes contributed all the labor that allowed colleges to earn this income, while student athletes themselves earn nothing. Now, after NCAA versus Alston, the average D1 athlete has received $3,700 through NIL, with some bigger name players scoring six-figure deals according to Icon sources. Livy Dunn, a gymnast here at LSU, has already earned $2.3 million through NIL deals, and Bryce Young, a former Alabama quarterback, earned $3.5 million before even entering the NFL. With the amount of time, effort, and energy student athletes put into representing each university, the ability to earn money has proved to be very rewarding already. Although many benefits have been seen through NIL, what problems have arisen for student athletes and the programs involved. So recently, football recruit Jaden Rashada and the Florida Gators were involved in a recruiting scandal, which showed the lack of discipline in NIL within the NCAA. Baker explains in Tampa Bay Times article that the Florida Gators promised Rashada that he would earn more money through NIL if he came there in regards to any other school, which is an illegal tactic in the NCAA. Baker explains that this is a major concern within college athletics because coaches will now exploit every loophole in order to gain an edge. Another incident occurred where the FSU football assistant coach was suspended for recruiting violations. According to Bashar's news report, the Florida State booster encouraged the prospect to join the FSU football team and offered him an NIL opportunity with the collective that would be worth $15,000 per month in his first year as a Seminole. This is illegal under NCAA rules because boosters aren't authorized recruiters. And these are just a few examples of the problems that have already been seen regarding lines being crossed between NIL and recruiting. Another thing to keep in mind is that student athletes are already under a lot of pressure to perform at their best consistently. Now with NIL, student athletes are being treated less like 18-year-olds who just graduated high school and are bound to make mistakes, and more like pros who are getting paid for playing. So, NIL, although proved to benefit student athletes in their monetary gains, is still an idea with a large gray area involved. The NCAA has seen both success and problems, and it's almost guaranteed that this will continue to be the case. We are in no means close to perfecting the rules and boundaries of NIL, but growth and progress have already been seen. With the expansion of NIL on the horizon and more unsolved problems surfacing, we are left with this lingering question. Will NIL ultimately lead to the construction or destruction of the NCAA?